NHL Best Bets for Tuesday, November 18th. We are live on PuckTime, WagerTalk TV. I'm Andrew McInnis. I have Carmine Bianco, Lawrence Presman, Don Buster, and Bryan Leonard joining me. We've got a jam-packed show, guys, and a pretty big slate of games here on a Tuesday. So looking forward to breaking things down. We have a same-game parlay for today, and we also have Carmine's bankroll builder play of the day. So not much time to waste here, guys. Lots to get to. I will bring in my co-host, Carm. What's up, brother? How are you?
Not much, Andrew. Huge day today. We got the Prez coming in. He's going to do New Jersey and Tampa Bay. Don Buster is going to do Seattle and Detroit. Bryan Leonard is going to do Calgary and Chicago. And then we're going to keep him around because I want to talk to Vegas Golden Knights and the New York Rangers. And I have a pod play that the line has just moved. I got the best number when I put it in. So I'll talk about that when we actually do that one. But the pod play got there yesterday. The Vancouver overs just keep on hitting, Andrew. It was like, before I knew it, it was like 4-3. I'm like, or 5-3. I'm like, what happened in this game? And then, of course, the one play I have last night, if you told me, Andrew, that the Buffalo Sabres were going to score 5 goals against the Edmonton Oilers, and the total is 6.5, I would have bet both of my chestnuts on the over in that game. And the Oilers get 1 goal in that game. Andrew, I'm going to mention one other thing about the Edmonton Oilers. Do you know the Edmonton Oilers have the worst 5-on-5 record in the NHL? 31st. 52 goals allowed 5-on-5. You can't blame the goalie in those instances. Well, you can, but or you won't. But with that said, let's bring him in. The co-founder of WagerTalk and the originator of PuckTime, the one, the only, the dancing panda, the Prez.
What up, boys? How you doing, guys?
What's up, Prez?
Yeah, not Bitcoin. That we know. But all is good in my world, guys, and no complaints whatsoever. I had the under in the NFL game last night. Crazy freaking ending. Absolutely. I don't think I've ever seen a team kneel before the clock will run out. And then hand the ball to the other team and be like, hey, throw a Hail Mary. Who knows? Maybe you run it in. I don't know. I mean, they were up by 17, so there was no pathway to losing the game, but either way, that was a crazy ending.
I'm actually surprised you watched that game. The Cowboys versus the Raiders were probably the last thing I wanted to watch last night, with a good slate of hockey games. And then other stuff you could have watched. I would have watched C-SPAN before I watched that game. But with that said, Prez, the Tampa Bay Lightning minus 170 here. The New Jersey Devils plus 139. Total sits here at 6. Where are you going in this one?
Neither of those teams I'm interested in betting on. I'm looking at the total here. New Jersey 9-9 to the under this year, or the over, basically dead even. Tampa Bay 8-10 to the under, and I like the under in this game. And I know that it always feels tough betting unders with Tampa Bay, given how much scoring power they have. And this is a team that just allowed 6 goals to Vancouver. You were just speaking about it recently. 3 games ago, they allowed 7 to the New York Rangers. They came back the following game, kept the opponent's shots down to 23. Won that game 3-1, held Florida only 1 goal. The Tampa Bay Lightning defensively are as good as it gets, guys. This is a team that, although they allowed 6 and 7 in their 2 of their last 3 games, prior to that, I mean, this team barely allows anybody over 2 goals. This team can shut teams down, and New Jersey is not a team that is looking to play high-scoring games. New Jersey is one of those 3-2 hockey teams. You know, how many? 3-2, 4-1. 5 is the key number in New Jersey games, because so many of their games are going to end around that number. And you take a look now, they played Washington. It was 3-2. Chicago was 4-3, but New York Islanders, there's another 5, 3-2. Anaheim was 4-1. LA Kings were 4-1. Both of these teams want to play to the under, and now they're playing against each other. And Tampa Bay probably got a scathing attack from Coops. I think they come out and play one of their best games of the year. And I don't know what happened to the goaltending. Do you know they held Vancouver to 17 shots and still allowed 6 goals? I think this game has got 2-1, 3-1 written all over it. I think we're going to see a mighty defensive performance on both sides. I like the under here, guys. As far as the side goes, I would look at Tampa Bay in regulation only because they're coming off of that horrible loss to Vancouver. And if you go down through their last 5-6 years, when they do lose a game that badly, they usually bounce back good. And we saw that with the Rangers 7-3 loss. They came back and beat Florida 3-1. So I would lean on Tampa Bay in regulation, but I like the under the most.
Yeah, no, I get it, Prez. And you look at the injuries and guys that aren't playing, guys that could be questionable, like Hedman and Cirelli, questionable for Tampa Bay, but likely get in there. You look at New Jersey, obviously, the biggest one is Hughes out. Hamilton, lower body injuries listed as questionable.
Yeah.
Dandanov, Kovacevic, so Pesci. There's a lot of guys who haven't played or who are missing tonight, but it's kind of like that next man up mentality. But when there's that many injuries, Andrew, do you even want to touch a side with that many injuries, or you look to the total and just say with some patchwork lines, maybe the timing isn't there?
Did you guys hear how Jack Hughes got injured? Like all the rumors that went around with him. He met up with Frank the Tank from Barstool at a diner or like a dinner, and he cut himself like eating steak or something like that. They haven't come out with the actual reason for what happened, but whatever it was, at dinner he cut himself, and it's bad enough. I thought he was going to be out for like a week or two, guys. He's out for like 4 to 6 weeks. Like that's kind of crazy for an injury there. But yeah, I don't know. Did his thumb completely fall off? We don't really know. But yeah, those Hughes brothers, they got some troubles with injuries. And yeah, you're right, Carm. Listing those injuries, I don't know if I really want to worry about betting aside. And Prez, you know how it is sometimes with sides. I mean, you cap NFL and all kinds of other sports as well. Sometimes it can kind of be one of those situations where a team gets injured and then all of a sudden they rally around the injuries and they end up pulling off the win. So I prefer to look towards the total, just like yourself. I think that's probably the way to go in this game, at least until the injuries settle in for a bit. Like Carm, I'll never forget, like Dave Koken used to always talk about it during COVID. Like you literally just had to bet on the team in college football with the players that had COVID the most, or the teams that had the most injuries or the most sicknesses. Like the line would go the other direction. You'd get the best value you could, and you take that team because everybody would overreact. So who knows? Maybe the Devils could be a spot, but I'm with Prez. I do think the total is the way to go here.
Prez, what do you have up at WagerTalk to promote? It is $5 customer appreciation day at WagerTalk. And for anyone who did visit the site, there was a Cloudflare problem which put down Twitter and a lot of the sites. Bet365 was down, and WagerTalk was down as well too, but it's up and working now, and all those packages are up. What do you got going?
What do I have going? Thanks for asking, brother. So I got a $5 play in hockey tonight, which I absolutely love. It's a 3% play, and I'm really dominating hockey right now in my 3, 4, 5%. But more importantly, I have a 5% NHL play tonight. Now, to give you perspective, from a sales perspective, Tuesday would be the worst day in the world to have a 5% play. It'll get completely overshadowed by all the $5 Tuesday plays. And I did not want to have a 5% play tonight. We're only allowed to have a few of those plays a night. They're our biggest selling plays. And I felt like, bummer, man. I don't want to do it on a Tuesday. That's how much I love my 5% play tonight, that I had no choice. I tried everything to not release a 5% play tonight, and I had no choice. I have a 5%. And if you buy my, well, screw that. If you want my 5% play for half price, use the promo code PRES50, PRES50. You can go over to WagerTalk, you get my 5% play for half price. That's $17.50, PRES50. I love both my plays tonight. I would join me for both of them, but obviously my 5% play, I am salivating over this play, Carmine and Andrew. Thank you for having me, guys. Make sure to watch the best betting show ever. Carm, Andrew, do you know the story of how the show was named?
I don't.
Oh,
I can't remember.
So Joe and I were doing a few shows just to get into rhythm, and we sent them to Dan and said, Dan, what do you think? And Dan said, holy shit, it's the best betting show ever. And we're like, that's the name. So I want to shout out Dan. Thank you, Dan, for naming our show.
Wow. Okay. Who knew?
When you feel something, Prez, you got to let it out. When you feel something, you got to let it out.
You will forever be known as the guy who named our show, Dan Alexander. Lots of love, guys.
That used to be the tagline for Rod and Jeremy. If you feel something, you've got to let it out. Best of luck with your plays, Perez. Andrew, if you're still there, or was Andrew just a guest on the show today and it's just Dan and I running the... Oh, there he is. Hey, thanks for coming back. Welcome to the show, Andrew.
What's up, Carm?
Andrew, you know, it is crazy. It's a good slate of games tonight across the board. And I wish I could put a play out on every single one of them. But that's why we're breaking down 4 games.
One of those days. One of those
days. One of those days. And sometimes they're good, sometimes bad. Like yesterday, I only liked one game on the card. I ended up on the wrong end of it because that Edmonton game finished 5-1. At 4-1, you know, you're hoping for an Edmonton, some kind of Edmonton goal, make it 4-2, and you're going to get 4 minutes of empty net magic. How about Rob Razor? Did you hear his comment during the Edmonton game?
What did he say?
With 4 minutes left, the Edmonton Oilers pull the goalie, and one of the guys goes, the Oilers with the empty net, and Rob Ray goes, it's been empty all night.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Here is a guy who does not care. He says what he means, and he means what he says. He said that last night during the game. He goes, the net's been empty all game. Kudos to him, man. You want commentators who aren't homers, who are going to call the game and call teams out. God bless them, man. That was absolutely awesome.
I'll tell you, Carm, last night, I'm kind of feeling sour because there's been times where I've come on here and I've had a team total bet the previous night and the team lost like 5-4 or 6-4 or whatever. And I can still say, wow, I still hit my team total, even though the team lost. Well, it was a huge price on Carolina yesterday. And I realized, because I was debating, is it Carolina team total over or is it Bruins team total under? But either way, I liked Carolina. I'm not much of a regulation guy anymore, and I don't play puck lines very much. And Carolina dominated that game from start to finish. And your boy had over 3.5 goals for Carolina. And I'm sitting here thinking, I loved the right team. I picked the right side, and I just wanted to avoid the juice. And as I've preached on the show for so long, it's helped me in the long haul. This year, my team totals percentage is not nearly the same as it was to start last year. We are on a pretty good run with them right now, but that can be a bit annoying, you know, like, and the worst part was there were so many power plays for the Bruins in the third period. There wasn't much 5-on-5 time for Carolina to get that fourth goal. And the only difficult thing I will say about Carolina getting the over 3.5 is they might have to be one of those teams for me where I look towards the opponent under 2.5 if I'm playing them, because if they get a lead, Carm, they're happy to protect the lead. So that was a bit frustrating for me. That was either there's losses you have where you can just move on the next day, but that one was a bit tough for me because I felt like I had the clear as day right side, and they just couldn't get to that magic number for me.
Yeah. Listen, anytime, whether it's team totals, whether it's totals in which you're taking the over, I always say and it's a big part of the game. Penalties are a part of the game. Power plays a part of the game. In the Sabres game yesterday, 3 penalties in the first period, 1 power play goal, and then no more penalties the rest of the game, except for 2 offsetting penalties in the 20th minute of the second period. So no power plays. You're playing 5-on-5, basically the whole game. So it is always tough. But with that said, we got to go and bring in none other than, as you've aptly named him, Don Julio Buster. He's not wearing red. He doesn't have that screwy little background there. Don Buster, how you doing, man?
Our Habs aren't giving you a reason to wear red right now. That's the problem. Not giving you a reason anymore.
Exactly, Andrew. Exactly. Yeah, I'm doing well, Carmine. Actually, you guys have been talking a lot about this Edmonton Buffalo game. I took Mrs. Buster over to see McJesus play. And let's just say after the game, she said, it doesn't look like he was walking on water tonight. And I'll tell you right now, that Edmonton team, this is going to be the exact same thing that's happened in the last 2 years, right? They look terrible. Their defense looks terrible. Their defense was terrible last night, Carmine. I heard you say that you had it over. I mean, if that's a team that, other than Buffalo, I don't know, like you say, you watch a game, 3 times they were walking in kind of on a half breakaway, and instead of shooting the puck, like the fans were going crazy because Buffalo's
Buster, you were there, but
5.
Crazy.
You were there, but the line that the Sabres put out against Connor McDavid whenever he was on the ice absolutely shut him down. He couldn't get those end-to-end rushes. He couldn't get the puck going. The Knobloch switched right away in the second period. He switched to Draisaitl and McDavid on the same line, and that wasn't working. Completely shut down the Oilers, unfortunately for me. But with that said, Buster,
that's all.
With that said, Buster, let's see if you're going to piss off Johnny Detroit and any of the staff that we absolutely love, the family in Detroit, because you're going to break down the Seattle-Detroit game. Detroit 172, Seattle plus 140. Total sits here at 6. You can find the odds on Odds Logic, of course, or the WagerTalk free site, free live lines. Where are you going with this one, Buster?
Yeah, Carmine. I won't be getting anybody upset in the Detroit office. Seattle does start a 4-game road trip tonight in Detroit, and they've won 2 in a row, so there's something there. Detroit's won 2 of the last 3 games, but it is that dreaded 3rd game in 4 nights. It also is even worse than that. They're playing their 4th game in 6 nights, so it's really not the best spot for the Red Wings tonight. That's for sure. Detroit did win all 3 games last year, but you have to lay 160, 165 with the Red Wings the last time I looked. That seems like a lot here, especially with the bad spot for Detroit. However, Seattle, even though they've won 2 straight, this is going to be the first game of that road of the 4-game road trip. And, teams like to, want to start fast on that first game road trip. But you know what? The eye test tells me, geez, that Detroit club has been playing well. I mean, they outplayed New York on Sunday, like just crushed them. But they could, and then had a hard time scoring goals. That's sometimes a problem. They usually don't have hard time scoring goals in Detroit. But because of that situation, I just can't play Detroit. And because Seattle is starting that first game, I think it's just a bad spot to be laying Detroit money or even taking Seattle here. I think the side's a tough take. What we do like the over, as you had mentioned, Carm. There's 5.5s over 30 on the market and 6 on the market right now. FanDuel and DraftKings at 5.5 over 30. Last time I looked, we actually put that play out for clients earlier this morning. The 2 situations I just mentioned, I like them coming into this for an over. It seems they help overs with because Detroit going to be tough playing some defense after after, like I say, 3 and 4 nights, had a tough game against the Rangers there, although they dominated. And being Seattle's first road, we know teams want to get off to a fast start. Now, this is going to be the Kraken's third road trip. So the first game of the first 2 of the road trips, easy overs over this 5.5. They both land on 7, I believe. Now, Detroit playing in that third game in 4 nights, 4th and 6th. I'm not sure if that defense is going to be there. It's going to be a little bit hard to come by. And like I say, when they're at home, they tend to play more offensively. And I think they'll get a little bit more puck luck tonight too, because they've been playing well, but they just have had some trouble scoring goals. There's no doubt about that. Now let's look at what happens when these 2 teams get together. They've had 6 overs and 2 pushes, and that's 6. So obviously, every game, if you get the 5.5 embedded over 30, every one of those games, all 8 games, over the 5.5. So we like that there. Seattle, as we all know, is normally kind of middle of the road club. You could even call them a little bit of an under club. And Detroit, when they're home, they've been a pretty good over club lately, at least. They're 4-1-1 the last 6 to the over. And what I liked with Detroit to score some goals tonight as well is that they get to face the number 29th penalty kill in Seattle. And like I say, Detroit, they look like a good club moving forward. They need to score some goals, that's for sure. And they need to get goaltending like a lot of teams, right? So our play for this breakdown of the Detroit-Seattle, we will play Detroit-Seattle over the total.
Yeah, Buster, and then I'll let Andrew jump in if he's got any questions. I'm looking at this game, and sometimes I want to sort of key in on that opening 20 minutes of the game. And there's hard to find any data for the first period that you can actually make a case for. Detroit at home has only had the lead in 1 game after 20 minutes. They've lost 6. They've pushed 3 of those games. Seattle on the road have never had the lead after 20 minutes. 6 losses, 2 pushes to the first period money line. As far as the over goes, the over 1.5, slightly profitable for both teams. I think Detroit 6-3, and it's I believe it's 5-3 for Seattle. So a little bit of profit on both sides, but not enough to step out and make a bet. Would you think, Andrew?
Yeah, I think so. I think the Seattle Kraken crack me up though, guys, because they're a different team at home versus on the road. They're a different team at home versus on the road. I think like that when I look at them, how they play defensively, like their win-loss record, like Buster, how much is that a factor for you here? I was, looking at the numbers and looking at this team. Look, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that they have the best home ice advantage in the league by any means, but it does feel like they play better defensively, especially at home, maybe. So does that play any factor to you? I mean, the fact that they're going on the road in Detroit, does the road home split mean a lot to you in this game?
Well, I'm not sure if it means a lot to me, but there's no doubt they do play a little bit better defense at home. And actually, I have all kinds of stats, but Carmine doesn't want me talking for 5 to 10 minutes here. So, but one of the stats I had, one of the stats I had, Seattle have gone over 5 of their 8 road games this year. So, and well over this 5.5 total. So, there's something to that point there, Andrew, that you mentioned, is that Seattle do play a little bit more defense at home. There's no doubt about that. And of course, that's one of my little parameters that go into a whole bunch of things to make me decide whether I'm going to bet a side or bet an over or an under.
All right.
Buster, $5 customer appreciation day at WagerTalk. What do you got loaded for today or long term for the weekend that customers can get for $5 today?
Yeah, tonight we have, since it's NHL, of course, we have our 4% best bet up at the site for National Hockey League. It's a total play, and we are number 1 overall betting 4% best bet totals lifetime at the site. Also, The powers that be have some great deals going on. Not only $5 customer appreciation day on Tuesdays, but there's a bunch of them. You go on to our website at Don Buster and check those out. But I'm going to mention the one which expires tonight, and it's a really good deal. You get 10 days for less than $10 a day, which includes all 5% plays. It's only $99. That expires for all the cappers tonight. Go over to Don Buster and pick ours up for $99.
All right, brother. We wish you the best of luck. When are you heading back to the land of the sunny avocados and Corona beers and everything else?
December 4th is the date, Carmine. That's the date that
December
we'll be
4th.
going back, December 4th. So looking forward to that, because believe me, even going to that Buffalo game last night, I hadn't been for years. I forget how cold that walk is from the casino over to Kmart, to the stadium there. I like to call it the Odd still, but it's not the Odd, obviously. It's funny, though, one quick little thing. When and you'll remember this, Carmine, Andrew was just a twinkle in his father's eye when this was going on. But when you went to the Odd Club all the time, you'd walk in, you'd turn around the corner, and they used to sell fried bologna sandwiches with cheese, and they also had the beef on wicks. And I'll tell you, they have a setup in Buffalo on the main floor that still have the beef on wick, and they have it set up like the old Odd. So we're sitting in the seats of the old auditorium back in the 80s, and so it was pretty interesting. And those beef on wicks over there, I tell you, they're just as they do that food well. So anyways,
how was the crowd, Buster? I got to ask you, like, what I mean, this team, it's Carm we joke around on the show, but if we're being serious, like, it is a problem right now, and people have been talking about maybe trades for Tage Thompson or different players, and then the owner and manager of the team are saying, no, Tage Thompson's off limits. I mean, at the end of the day, they do have some young players, with Jack Quinn and Josh Doan and some of these guys. Like, I don't know what the solution is, but the fans aren't happy, and they've tried to rebuild like 5 or 6 times. What was the vibe like? I mean, obviously people were there to watch McDavid. What was the vibe in the arena?
Yeah, the place was full. And like you said, because people were there to watch McDavid. And but I'll tell you, the Buffalo fans, they're diehards. I was sitting beside a guy. He's telling me he's had seasons tickets there for 30 years at the game, but they're just, it's full of misery. And he even has Bill's seasons tickets. He was telling me he went to the game on Sunday. So Buffalo fans, they are diehards, and they love their club. And it's been a lot of misery for that city, but you have to, I love fans with a lot of heart, and there's no doubt Buffalo fans have that.
A lot of misery. Listen to this guy. You know what misery is?
That is a lot of misery, Carmine.
Yeah. Misery is December 4th when you're going through customs, and I've alerted them, and you get that blue glove treatment in the side room. That's what misery is going to be. But anyways, Buster, we wish you the best of luck. Good luck with your plays tonight, and we'll talk to you later on this week. You're going to make another appearance on the show.
Thanks,
all right,
guys.
Andrew.
Appreciate it.
See you, Buster. I got to say this point here real quick. Habs Relic says Kevin Adams isn't going to start on a rebuild for the next GM. And I get it, and I've heard people say that on other podcasts as well. Yeah. It makes sense. But let's be honest, Habs Relic, what he's done hasn't worked. So you only have one option, because it's not like they're in the middle stage or the top stage. They're still in the bottom of the league. So that's kind of really how it works. Thompson. Also, DeMarcus says, come on, Carm, that's crazy to say of you. Always the crazy comment when the guest is on the way out.
Yeah, Don and I are good friends, so I'm still making the call to Canadian Border Security. We're going to make sure he's not taking any of our good stuff home to Mexico with him. But Andrew, with that said, Tage Thompson, the guy is such a physical player out there. He pretty much ragdolled a player yesterday in the game on his way to the net. He just kind of shot putted him out of the way. It was hilarious to see. Good on them. They won a game. They're now tied with the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Buffalo Sabres, for last place in the Eastern Conference. Yes, Last place, the Toronto Maple Leafs in the Eastern Conference. A 2 p.m. General manager Brad Trevelyan, whose brother owns all the Boston pizzas in Canada. 2 p.m. news conference. We'll see what they announce. I thought it might be Austin Matthews gone for the year, Andrew, but he was on the ice this morning with Chris Tanev skating. First time he's skated since taking that hit from in the Boston Bruins game. So we'll see what they have to say about him. But I think he's gone long term. Him being on the ice means nothing because we know, going back to the whole Colorado thing, and one of their guys, Landeskog, he was on the ice quite frequently in the mornings and didn't play for 2.5 years. So we'll see what happens there. Andrew, it is such a nice day today for a coffee. And you know what goes well with coffee?
Bring him on. Bring him
Yes.
on.
A shot of Bailey's. There he is. Oh, my God. He is wearing his Patrick Mahomes colored jersey, Kermit. I'm sorry. It's jump on Patrick Mahomes week. 5-5 the Chiefs. Bri, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. And I just want to make 2 quick comments before we get into the game. Number one, if Dan Alexander said that was the greatest betting show ever, you learn to read through what people say and what they actually mean. It means the rest of these shows suck, is what he's trying to say, especially if he's not on it. Now, if he's on it, that's a good one. But Dan's a great guy, and I'm glad.
When Prez is on the show, you just say whatever you have to, Brian, to get him the hell off the show. So, yeah, sure, Prez, it's the best betting show ever. Just please get out of here.
Just don't say leave, because he'll never leave.
Exactly. You just had to get him the hell out of here.
Also,
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like that 4-box there, Dan. Feel free to come back anytime. 4-box looks kind of cool there. I like it.
But if you could replace your picture with AI Dan instead, we would really love it. Dan hates my AI stuff, but I had to pop that in there this morning for him just to give him a little bit of.
We'll get to see how awesome your graphic looks. The computer's doing an amazing job. They'll see during the pick of the day. You'll see Carm's amazing AI swap image.
Oh, shut up! Shut up! AI. Listen, AI. It's here, man. We're all going to be replaced. It's going to be AI Andrew, AI Carm. The good thing is AI. All of the robots are already bald, so I'm good. It's
AI is not betting team
of the way
totals.
there.
That's why I'm the AI only bets sides and totals here, not team totals. So that's why AI won't replace me. I'm telling you right now.
This is the best. This we can call it the best damn sports show, whatever. This is the best sports show there is. PuckTime every morning, because we have our loyal followers, the Pucksters, tune in each and every day. And if they can't make it live, they are in the comment section later on, sharing info, who they like, shop props, game props. You guys do it all. We absolutely love you guys for doing that. And if you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button. It's absolutely free to hit that little button that says subscribe. Bri, how did you come up with these ones, man? The Calgary Flames and the Chicago Blackhawks, an absolute coin flip as far as the odds go, -110 both ways. I'm seeing various totals on this one. I'm seeing 5.5s and I'm seeing a 6 as far as our consensus numbers goes. But on the WagerTalk live lines, pretty much some 5.5s across the board. Where are you going with this one?
Well, when you get 2 hosts and you got 3 guests on the show, that doesn't leave me a lot to pick from when I'm the 3rd guest. I do want to point out that when Buster was on here, he talked about Hockey Jesus not walking on water yesterday. Well, yeah, he did. Frozen water is ice. So I'll have to disagree with him on there. I know down in Mexico, they don't have to worry about ice. But getting back to the game, people are all talking, and Toronto's another team dealing with a lot of injuries. People are talking about Chicago. And when they're going to come back to the pack and all. But, Chicago's got some injuries today, and I think we can take advantage of that. Nick Foligno got hurt in the last game. Bertuzzi's still out. But where are the Calgary Flames all of a sudden worth being a pick 'em on the road? I haven't seen it. On the season they came in, my projected points was 81.5 projected point total. But even by that standards, they've been a disappointment. They're talking about cleaning house in Calgary, trading some of these players. Now they got to go on the road. Not the best situation for Calgary. They currently sit with a 5-12-3 record, minus 19 net goal differential, and they only have 13 points. That's 3 points worse than Nashville. The Nashville Predators for the worst team in hockey right now. The Blackhawks won the previous meeting 4-0, and they're really having a solid season. They got a 9-5-4 record, 22 points and plus 12 net scoring advantage on the season. And out of their games, they played 10 of their 12 games on the road. So they played 10 at home and 12 on the road. So this is a team that I think is better than what a lot of people think. And despite the injuries in this game, I still like Chicago. I think it's a bargain price. You know, the major advantage in this game is the special teams. The Blackhawks are very good in that regard. While the Flames ranked 32nd in the power play, 23rd in the penalty kill. And it's been a while since Calgary's been on the road, but they're now on a 1-9 run on the road. In those 10 games, they've only scored 18 goals in the process. It's the third of 4 games in Chicago. They split the first 2. Chicago should be a lot higher than the number they're having right here, minus 110, minus 120 in this range. Chicago, even with the injuries they have, most of their younger guys have been the ones doing all the damage for them this year. So just because they've got some injuries does not mean they cannot beat the Calgary Flames at home, a team that right now you have to really question what they're going to do the rest of the year. And you mentioned Buffalo with making some changes and getting rid of some players. Calgary's ready to do that as well as Nashville. So should be some trades coming up pretty soon as some of these teams are really tanking it for the rest of the season.
Sorry, I muted myself there because I had to cough. But yeah, Bryan, listen, I fully agree with you. You know, I mean, you look at it and people, and myself included, figured at some point the Chicago Blackhawks will cool down, but they're not right now. They're winning games, and while they're winning games, should be taking advantage of it. You know, 110 at home, even with some injuries against a Calgary team that doesn't win very often. I think they've only won one of their last 5 games, and that was a 2-0 victory for Calgary in a game in which I had the puck line as a part of a pod play. That's the only game that they've won. Not very good on the road as well, too. Sometimes you have to ride the hot team, even if you expect at the end of the year that they're going to be near the bottom of the standings. One thing's for sure, the Calgary Flames are going to be at the bottom of the standings. They're not going to turn this season around. I think they'll be in, like, Andrew, what would you think? Sellers mode at this point?
Yeah, I think that there's a reason why we don't really see trades in like November or even early December is because teams don't know what they are yet. I think typically closer to around Christmas and then January is when we start to realize who teams really are, Carm. So I'm curious, like you were talking about Pittsburgh yesterday, Carmen. I'm not taking a shot at what you were saying, but Pittsburgh right now, they don't think they're bad yet, right? Yeah. So they don't want to sell anybody off until they know they're bad yet. So it's very interesting to look at some of these teams, like, I know me and you always take shots at the Maple Leafs, but they're in kind of a unique situation right now because they don't have that many prospects. They don't have that many first-round picks anymore. So they don't really have a lot to trade for in order to build their team up, but they're also really injured. So how do you go about, not hitting the panic button, but also trying to salvage the season? And I know it's November 18th, but at the end of the day, like you mentioned, they're last place in the conference with the Buffalo Sabres. So I do find it very, very interesting because some of these teams, don't really know who they are quite yet. And I think that, Bryan, like, can we correlate this a little bit to baseball? Like, would you say there's a certain time of year in baseball where you can bet favorites more than others and you can bet dogs more than others? And, teams have almost started to give up in baseball. But earlier on in the season, they might not know, hey, we're not that bad, and then the confidence kind of hits you and you're like, man, we're going to win 40 games this season. And then it kind of hits you a little bit, right?
Well, that's the thing with baseball as well as hockey is you always have these teams. They go from last place to first place, and a lot of it happens in the locker room, and we're not there to know about it. So it's you can't give up in baseball. Look at Toronto. At one point, they looked like they were going to be out of it, and then all of a sudden they got hot, and hey, now everybody's talking about next season. I can't wait for next season to start. And look at Cleveland. Cleveland was the same way. Then they got on that hot streak later on. So, yeah, you can never tell. But when you're in a situation with Toronto with the injuries, at least you think you can get some of those guys back. Some of these other teams, even without the injuries, it's going to be really tough for them to make that big jump all the way to the playoffs.
Yeah, the farther the Leafs, I joked around about the fact that the Sabres and the Leafs are bottom of the Eastern Conference, and you can look at it; they're only like 5 or 6 points back of a playoff spot. But the farther you drift off, the harder it becomes, even when your stars come back. And Andrew, to your point of like the of trades, this is the worst time I think a team can look to trade some of their players away, because it is not yet a seller's market. As we get closer, and Andrew, what you talked about, teams understanding what their identity is, who they are, and whether they can make a run. We get close to that trade deadline a month out, and we saw some moves last season a month out. That is when teams know what holes they need to plug.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're holding those players, you're going to get back some better prospects. Right now, if you're trying to sell, it's not a seller's market right now. You're not going to get what you need right now. So you got to give this season probably like the 50 game mark, and we start to see some players move. I don't think it's panic mode yet. The Titanic hasn't sunk on some of these teams as of yet. Speaking of Titanic, the Vegas Golden Knights and the New York Rangers, Brian, I want to get your thoughts on this one. You and Andrew, I'm going to get your thoughts on this game, because this is going to be part of my pod play, and I'll just give you my thoughts then. But Andrew, you first. 145 on Vegas, plus 119 on New York. This was a vastly different line at 3 p.m. yesterday. It has come down. The value on New York has faded away. Total sits here at 6.
Carm, it's very interesting here because this New York Rangers team has 110% been better on the road than they have been at home. It's just been a clear road versus home split. And a lot of times we talk about, hey, this team has looked better at home. This team has looked better on the road. Can it be sustained? Well, right now, this New York Rangers team, the game they're coming off of, another MSG poor outing for this New York team. So part of me does think to myself, well, maybe getting on the road again could be a good thing for this New York Rangers team. But then I remembered that this Vegas team has lost 4 straight games at home. Prior to that one, they had only scored 1 goal and won 1-0 at home against the Detroit Red Wings. I like Vegas here. I think this is the spot here. They're not going to forget about those home performances that they had. I think in a couple of these road games, especially that one against the Blues, played a very, very solid road game. A couple of their star players found their game again. And I feel like this is a spot where they can use their depth against the New York Rangers. The Rangers are a tougher team. They are getting better offensively. But I think when I look at this Vegas team, I love how they play. I love the physicality they bring, but also the depth they have on their roster. And when I look at depth, I certainly believe Vegas has the edge over the New York Rangers, at least for right now. So despite a little bit of chalk here, I do like this Vegas team. One team's been playing very well on the road, but I'm not going to forget, and I don't think the Vegas Golden Knights are going to forget, that the last 4 times that their season ticket holders went to watch them, they had a bad effort or they choked away a game. I think this is an important home game for Vegas. I like them tonight. And Carm, I'll just mention this because I got to head out, actually. I've got one $5 play up in the NHL. We are on an 11-2 all sports run. You guys can get that again just for $5 at WagerTalk.com. NFL continues to do very, very well. We hit our 4% best bet yesterday. George Pickens over 65.5 receiving yards. Felt like the whole world was on it. I was a bit worried. The guy gets like close to 150 yards. You got to love that. So 11-2 all sports run. You guys can get my $5 play at WagerTalk. But yes, Carm, the gloves are off. We might be going head to head tonight. That's it for me, guys.
All right. We are going head to head. Get out of here. Bryan, give us your thoughts. You're close. You get the info from, from whether it's locals, whether it's the news, whether it is the team reporters on the Vegas Golden Knights. So always good to have your thoughts on this team.
Well, I'm glad Andrew decided to leave, so then I could say he's wrong in this game.
You could have told him to his face.
We don't know, but I cannot play the Golden Knights in this game. Yes, they've lost 4 straight at home. Well, they lost 3 straight at home before that. It's not like they're not giving the energy. They're playing with a lot of energy. They just cannot get into their offense. And if you take a look at the Rangers have played 4 road games this month. They've won them all. And in those 4 games, they've given up 7 total goals. They're playing great defense. And that's the one thing that Vegas has been able to do. They've been able to play pretty good defense and keep these young goaltenders in the game. I'm either taking the money with the Rangers here, or I'm playing this game under the total. Just don't trust Vegas. Teams, and I talked about this earlier with Chicago, and all, teams have ups and downs all season long. Do I think Vegas is a playoff team? Of course they're a playoff team. They will be one of the better teams in this conference at the end of the season. But right now they're not playing well. And you're continually finding ways to put up numbers for Vegas that just aren't the way they're playing right now. It's not worthy. So, I'm on the Rangers. I use them as my free play today. And I do like the under also. And since it's $5 Tuesday, I've got a hockey play up of 4% in hockey right now. I've got 5 games in college basketball for only $5. I'm on an 8-1 run in college basketball, 16-4 overall. But we try to be as visible as we can be, transparent. And I lost my 5% play on the Boston Bruins. Bad play. They didn't play nearly as well as I thought they were going to, and we lost it. I went 4-1 yesterday. That was my only loss. Like I said, 16-4. Everything's working out great, but I apologize for that one. It was just a bad play in retrospect.
Yeah, Bryan, listen, I always say it's a marathon, not a sprint. And you've proven over the years, last year, the year before, NHL hockey is one of your fortes. You do extremely well on it. And that's why I think, like even the 7-day $99 package where you end up getting 10 days for $99 is the best way to judge someone, except for, instead of one game. So listen, man, I wish you the best of luck. I probably won't see you this year. I'll see you in the new year, but I'll make a trip down to Vegas. But with that said, best of luck to you, man, today and the rest of the week. And I'll see you. I think you're coming on Thursday's PuckTime show as well, too. So look forward to seeing you then. Guys, Andrew obviously had to go, but his same game parlay is going to be tweeted out. So make sure you follow him, Andrew McInnis Picks on Twitter. Follow me as well, too, at Carmine Bianco WT. Now, my pod plays, I normally come up with these pod plays the day before, not the morning of. And if I like a line, I bet it as part of the pod play. I drop, as Dan, our producer, will say, a crappy AI version of it in our channel. And then he puts it up on the screen. There it is right there. It's a little small. I didn't go with the 16:9 aspect. But the New York Rangers yesterday at 2:30, 3 o'clock were plus 140. And now that number is down to plus 119, plus 120 in some spots. Still like this play a lot. I don't care the fact that the Vegas Golden Knights have lost 4 straight games at home. This is a team that's 4-3-3 on home ice. They've only won 4 of their 10 games, plus 1 goal differential, 4 straight losses. You look at the Rangers. Rangers are 9-1-1 on the road. This team could not score to save their lives at home, getting shut out in 5 of their first 7 games at home. 9-1-1 on the road, 6 straight wins, 38-21 goal differential. I am going with the New York Rangers to continue their run. This is a team that people were down on early in the season, but right now they're right there. They're 5 points out of first and only about 2 points out of a playoff spot, playing some very good hockey. And I'm going to take them here in this spot as your pod play. So that is it as far as the pod goes. We won yesterday's pod with Vancouver, Florida. easily shooting over that total of 6. Let's try and keep that pod growing. As far as $5 plays, one best bet going tonight in the NHL. And I have one play up for NFL this coming Sunday that you can get it for $5 up until midnight tonight. And then it reverts back to its original pricing of $25. So grab that package, or one of the great deals that we have, including the NHL full season and the World Cup next summer, all in one package as well too, guys. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. For myself, Dan Alexander, Don Buster, the Prez, Andrew McInnis, and Brian Leonard, and pretty much everyone else who tuned in, this is Puck Time. We'll see you tomorrow.